Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to Life on the Wrist. I hope you guys are doing well today. This is one of my favorite series that we actually have on this channel, and that is Legends of Watchmaking. I'm going to be talking about Josef Pallweber, who is known for pioneering the movement, digital watch movements, but also pioneering the jump hour complication. We did create a video recently where we discussed the jumping hour complications and obviously talked about Josef Pallweber, but I thought I would kind of go into the history of him, where he's from, and what he really contributed to the watch community, because he really is an icon and someone who has influenced watchmaking for the better. So I'm going to be talking about Josef Pallweber today. If you haven't seen some of our other videos where we talk about other watchmakers, there is a playlist on our channel, but basically we talk about all kinds of watchmakers and their contribution to the watch community and watchmaking. And so be sure to check out some of those other watchmakers. We've done things like Breguet, Vacheron Constantin. We've done other people who have made a significant impact in watchmaking, so be sure to check those out. So Josef Pallweber was born in Salzburg in Austria. So he was born in Salzburg in 1858. Salzburg is a part of Austria that borders very closely to Germany, and Salzburg, is a direct translation, actually means salt fortress. So the salting obviously was founded with the salting mines and is a huge part of their kind of history. Some other people who are from there include Mozart, just a fun fact there. And so he was born in Austria. He ended up moving to Germany, I think, when he was quite young, but ended up making his way to Switzerland, where he became an engineer. Well, obviously he was an engineer, but started to practice engineering in Switzerland. Like I said, he is considered the founder of the jumping numerals or jumping hour complication. So in 1883, he actually, he was working on this complication, and in 1883, he patented the jumping hour complication, which meant he had something that he could actually license out to companies to use used by other companies to make a little bit of money off of his patent, because obviously the jumping hour complication had never been created before, and so this is something that he could monetize. And if you don't know, the jumping hour complication is basically a movement that, instead of pointing to the hours, with a typical hand that you see on typical watches, there's actually a disc that displays the hour numerically, and so every time 60 minutes elapses, the hour disc jumps, and so hence the jumping hour complication. So like I said, in 1883, at the age of 25, Josef Pallweber patented this new way of telling time, and then ended up looking for watch companies who wanted to use this complication. And one of the watch companies that decided to Pallweber decided to license this complication to was IWC. IWC obviously has a rich history of watchmaking. I think it has a connection to the United States as well, which I thought was quite cool. And so IWC started licensing the movement from Pallweber. They also decided to grant this license to another manufacturer so that it could be produced in other countries. IWC granted Swiss manufacturer Cartier for the French and Belgian markets, so that this watch complication could be used in other countries. And obviously this was a huge success in the late 1800s. This was used for the most part in pocket watches, and IWC created a lot of these, and obviously did really, really well. In fact, they actually showed a sales record of these at 16,600 of these watches were produced in 1890, which was actually a record for them as a watch manufacturer. There are many other versions of this watch that have been used into the 1900s, where IWC started partnering with some other artisans, where they would have hand-painted designs on the dial of these pocket watches, and they became extremely extremely popular within the 1800s. The jumping hour complication did end up falling off a little bit going into the 20th century, but became a little bit more popular in the 1920s, 1930s, and a lot of other mainstream watch manufacturers like Cartier started producing some of these watches with the jumping hour complication. Again, there was another lull, and then in the 1970s, obviously with digitalization, it became a very, very big part of watchmaking. You don't really see a lot of these right now, but IWC did come out with a Pallweber tribute, 150 years of Pallweber tribute, where they came out with a wristwatch with the jumping hour complication that was based off of the original pocket watch that Pallweber created, and obviously licensed the rights to use it to IWC. So they were paying tribute to a very important watchmaker. He actually did create a lot of other types of time-telling machines. In the middle of the 20th century, he actually came out with with what a lot of people consider is a digital clock, and this basically incorporated his jumping hour complication, but basically said, I'm gonna have a jumping hour, a jumping minutes, and then obviously as seconds elapse, those minutes are going to also jump. And so a lot of people consider this the first digital watch, but I think the definition of a digital watch is a little bit different. So he definitely had a contribution to both jumping hours, but also the concept of having a digital watch with numerals as opposed to hands that kind of tell you the time. So that is the main contributions that Pallweber had. Interestingly enough, there actually was a watch company that I found online in 2010. Mark Balzweiler, I'm not really familiar with him, but he actually trademarked the rights to the name Josef Pallweber. And there is a watch company that has that does create some watches, but when I went to their website, they have a little note that says, unfortunately, I'm not able to run this watch company because of the amount of work that it takes, but also the financial strain that it has on this company. So, but they did say that there is probably going to be a Josef Pallweber 2.0, and hopefully that comes around soon. So there is some legacy of Josef Pallweber out there, and the watch that I can see on their landing page it pays quite good tribute to what he does. So let's hope that kind of comes around again. But it is, I would say that the Josef Pallweber name is a little bit dormant right now. So we'll see if that ends up coming back, and I really hope it does for someone who had a really significant contribution to the watch community, and created a really, really beautiful complication that has produced a really beautiful watch just in the IWC 150 years tribute to Pallweber. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about Josef Pallweber and his contribution to watchmaking. I really enjoy making these watches because it kind of gives you a little bit more of appreciation for the watches that you see out there on Instagram or on YouTube or wherever you consume watches. There are some significant people who have done some great things for watchmaking, and I want to make sure to pay tribute to them. So thank you, Josef Pallweber, for your contribution to watchmaking. Your legacy is obviously lasting. So if you haven't checked out some of our other watchmakers that we've covered on this channel, be sure to do that. You can go to our channel and check out the playlist that we have. There's probably some in the side panel as well you could probably check out. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you like these types of videos. Let me know if there's a watchmaker you'd like me to cover in our next video for this series. Also, do not forget to smash that like button for us. It really does help us out with the YouTube algorithm. And with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time.